What's going on, everybody? It's Dormville, STS Sundays. I'm Mike Hood with my co-host
Backstage Phantom.
And we got special guests in the building today, Bobby and Paisley. What's going on?
Not a thing.
Yo, to start off today's STS, we're just going to start off with a nice, calm subject of old heads versus new heads, like the disparity in the gap at which that we see today. Who wants to jump off, bro? Like,
I'll get it. So I just know that there is a big gap between them sometimes. I personally feel like I have more of an old head spirit, but I know I feed into the new age like type stuff.
Like, in that sense, I feel like I'm like on the same wavelength as you, but like in my mind, it's like the old heads are like Wayne, T.I., who else, Boosie, like all the niggas that went to jail whenever we were in like middle school, or not even middle school, in elementary school, like when they all just got locked up, like all just back to back to back to back, and then it was just like, all right, guys, well, here's Drake, and we're just like, yes, like as kids, like there was no like, we didn't understand what was happening. We're just like, oh yeah, rappers go to jail for like drugs and guns, like that's a thing. Like that was just like a culture we kind of grew up in, and then we see like there was like Kendrick Cole, Wale, Waka Flocka, like all those guys, like they came in, and then there weren't like that many of them as to like now, like the new kids on the block is like Yachty, Pump, Lil Nar,
Uzi, like
yeah, like all the dreadhead, all the SoundCloud rap kids, and so it's like they like all the old heads came out of jail, and we're just kind of like doing their own thing, and then they still had like the Kendricks and Coles to like look at, and just be like, oh yeah, y'all are doing fine, and then bam, here came all these like fucking new kids, and you're like, what the shit? Yeah. And like they all just like, instead of having the conversation piece with them, they just fucking yell at them. They're just like Joe Budden, like my favorite part of Joe Budden, yo, like when he fucking yelled at Yachty, and I was just like, it's like, yo, like he needed that yelling, like, you know, like you need your dad to like fucking yell at you. You might need a spanking every now and again when you keep fucking up, but like there hasn't been there has been an old head that's like fucking with the kids. It's like Jay's fronted money for charges. Jay's like with the whole 21 Savage deal, like he's just like, hey, like you keep fucking up, come here, and it's just like he's helped kids with projects, like he's helping Uzi with his new project, right. And so it's just kind of like, I feel like more old heads, like more people need to do shit like that rather than be like these bitter ass dudes like fucking Joe and Eminem. So that's just like my take on that shit,
bro. But like, I don't know. I feel like old heads need to communicate with the kids a little different, because like you can't just like yell at them and expect them to like fall in line, because like to them it's like, who's this old guy just yelling?
Yeah, it's like, yo, you like when you go outside and like some old ladies yelling at you, yeah, like Walmart,
you're not gonna care. It's like, okay,
who the fuck are you? Like it's like, you ain't my mama. But I mean, like, yeah, but in that sense, like, how would you want them to talk to kids?
Just like treat them with like, treat them with respect, obviously, but like also acknowledge their issues, because like to them maybe like some kids like addiction or whatever may not seem like a lot, just like, oh, get yourself straight or whatever,
right? But
like to them it's like a potent problem to them, and they have to acknowledge that and like go like, okay, kid, like your world is very important, and like here's what you can do to fix that.
And I mean, like with that, like Cole sat down with Pump, and then we look at Pump, and he, again, yo, my favorite shit, Riley Reid smoking weed out of this kid's toes. Yeah. Like, I'm like, bro, like, you sat down with somebody that is enlightened, and you sat down with somebody that wants you to do better, and then you turn around and you waste money, you turn around and you do, like, I mean, like, I would say, like, he had Kanye, but I mean, like, Kanye's getting better. He has Sunday service, bro. Like, yo, he's doing something with his, like, he's not doing destructive shit anymore. Like, so it's kind of like falling into the realm of like, there's no like way that these kids want to, like, they don't want to listen. They don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just kind of like, well, that's your money, this is my money, I'm here, like we talked about, like just they're here for the now. Like they're not like Nipsey Hussle thinking about like, oh, let me invest in real estate, you know what I mean? Like they're not like in Story of OJ, whenever Jay was like, I could have bought a property that was worth 1 million, now that shit's worth like however much, and he's like in Dumbo, and he's like, now I feel like Dumbo, and it's like they don't think like that shit, like they don't listen to like older niggas that I'm like, bro, like you have these fucking vast channels of knowledge and shit like that, but they're like, they have their numbers, they have their like agents' numbers, they like have these like connections with these guys, but they're just like, I'm gonna go buy a grill, like
and I understand why some of the old heads get mad at them, because sometimes it makes me mad, because I'm like, why do you have so much jewelry and like so many cars and so many houses, and you don't really need that. I remember this DJ Quickline, he said that he will buy a car and it has to have at least 100 miles on it, and he's a rapper, he had a lot of money, but he's still keeping it somewhat real, and he knows what it takes to keep his money.
Right.
So he said, stop doing the shit that keeps you broke. And eventually all these rappers that are like coming out now are making all this money, getting all this jewelry, getting all these cars, they're gonna be broke whenever their money stops like making money, basically. That's why you invest in stuff, you get the money back. But they're not thinking like that, they're just throwing it out. So I understand why they're mad at them and like yelling at them, because I don't know, I do the same thing.
I have a question.
Yo,
do y'all think there are like old head artists that are starting to sound like new head ones, like people that go Hollywood or mainstream? Like they sounded really good, but now like really pure and real, and now they sound like, I don't know, like they're not good lyricists anymore, and they just care about like ass and money and stuff like that instead of like telling stories or whatever.
I think that would fall into like probably fucking, I don't want to be like, oh, that's you know what I mean? But like, I would say 2 Chainz to an extent, because it's like, he like whenever he was Titty Boy, like no one really cared. It was just like he did Duffel Bag Boy with Lil Wayne, and I was like, yo, that was a good ass song. It was like just about some little kid in the hood, like, get your money, little Duffel Bag Boy, like, go, like, yeah, you doing this shit, but get your money, don't worry about it, because like I ain't never ran from a nigga, and today ain't gonna be the day that I start running. I don't know why I try to do that shit fast as hell. Like it's not even the fucking like tempo or anything for that shit. But like now that nigga, he came out with like twerking songs, and it's like he did No Lie, and I mean like that was okay back in like 2012 or whatever the fuck that was. But like he's the only person that I think is like avidly doing that shit, because it's like everyone else has their money.
Yeah, I think it's okay to do that sometimes. Like we talked about it one time. Like people that I just discovered, I would go look at their old stuff and they sound completely different. Yeah. And I think it's okay to have range and stuff, but to just go Hollywood and not go back is weird. Like Travis Scott, I discovered him like last year, 2 years ago, and I don't know, he just sounds way different than you showed me. Al Farrow or Farrow, whatever.
Al Farrow.
Yeah. And that sounds completely different than what he is now. Like the Butterfly Effect song, I looked up the lyrics and nothing makes sense, which not a lot of songs make sense, but I was like, I don't know, I think he's just doing stuff now just to do it. And then I love Kendrick Lamar, but he sounds different too, but I think it's not that he can get away with it, but like it sounds, I don't know, I think we talked
sounds like manufactured, you think?
Yeah,
it sounds like they're copying a sound, like they're all starting to sound the same. And it's kind of disappointing because Kendrick Lamar does not tell stories anymore. He does not do that. We had Good Kid, Mad City, a whole like story, right? And now I don't even know what we got from him.
We talked about with our friend Brian the other day. Like, Damn was like every song on there you could take Kendrick out and then put like, all right, well here's Drake, or like here's like insert name here, and it's just like, oh yeah, like that's fine. Like no one would be upset, and it's like, cause like I did a full listen to Pimp a Butterfly, and I was just like, damn, bro, what happened to this, bro? Like this shit was good.
It's not like they sound completely like Lil Pump and stuff. Right. I don't think they sound like to that extreme, but It's just they lost their selves in a way. Like you said, he was replaceable in that. But I don't know. Like back then, it's like, oh, I can tell that's him. He wrote that. It's about his life and applicable things. But now it's kind of like about money and like women and objectifying women, stuff like that anybody could do.
Right.
Like no one can tell someone's story for them, but now they're just coming out with anything. So I didn't know if that was an example of like a new head like artist, if they were like trying to sound like them. I don't know.
I mean, like it makes sense and it adds up. I think that with that, like that's like not a whole other can of worms, but it like in itself is like it's they're connected, but like the fact that like a lot of these people like they have an evolution. Like whenever I first started listening to Travis Scott, it was before the rodeo. And then Astro World came out, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, whenever he, like, went mainstream and shit like that, it was just kind of like, oh, this isn't the same kid out of Houston. Like, it was just like, that's just some nigga. Like that's just some dude. And it's like, whenever I started listening to Chance, it's like, Chance went from, like, I'm not saying, like, he needs to go back and do drugs or anything, but, like, he went from this, like, kid that was, like, sketched out on weed from 10 Day, and then he went to, like, acid rap where he was, like, fucked up off acid all the time, and then you just, like, then you flip it to, like, oh, here's coloring book, like, I go to church and I have a kid now. And I'm like, like, that's nice, but, like, me as a listener, I'm just like, oh, yeah, like, there was nothing, like, there were a few songs here and there that, like, showed me the transition, but, like, his wasn't a commercial transition. His was like a natural like progression in life. But like a lot of people will go through that like, oh, like here are all my stories. Here's what I've gone through, and then it's like, all right, well, I have run out of shit. Well, here it is.
They start just saying anything.
What's it called? It's weird to hear acid rap and then hear him on that one song with like DJ Khaled and Justin Bieber.
And then
what the fuck is
No Brainer?
Yeah,
he lost it right there.
If you just listen to his part. It's like anybody could have done that too.
Yeah.
It's like it all sounds like corny and like for the kids. It's like why is it for the kids? Why can't you just make it for your original friend? I don't know.
I mean, like after a while, I feel like it becomes about the money, like not really like the money, like or the greed or whatever, but like they kind of have to like turn a profit eventually, and like them keeping like their original sound isn't going to like do that anymore. So like they kind of have to like make it more commercialized so they can reach a broader audience and like probably chase that mega star status like that of Eminem or like Drake.
I mean, but like with that, like you use Eminem and it's like, yo, Eminem was like, all right, guys, I'm gonna shove a gerbil in my asshole, and like people still like him, and it's like, do I know why? No, I'm like, I'm not someone that like I'm like, but Eminem's the best fucking rapper alive. Like, I don't think Eminem holds a candle to a lot of people just because like. I'm not impressed by like, okay, yeah, you can rap fast, bro. Like, oh, okay, you use a vernacular, you have a large vernacular. That's nice. Like, that's a part of the job. Like, because a lot of people come into the game and they don't have a resume. Like, their resume is literally just like fucking. I made a song on my phone, and he's like, I have all these like verbal skills and shit like that. That doesn't mean like just because he came into the job better prepared doesn't mean that he's the best type shit. That's just that's a whole other. Like,
so would you consider him canceled?
I can't cancel like I mean I can't cancel him off of that, but I mean like with that like I mean like cancel culture is something that is really big. I think if Eminem did come out if he came out and was just like oh shit yo what did Charlamagne the God and Andrew Schultz and like Brilliant Idiots. They were talking about how Eminem and Joe Budden, like, they both had, like, abuse charges, like, or, like, some type of abuse, like, deals going on, like, back in the day or whatever. And so Charlamagne was like, the only reason Joe signed a deal with M is because he knew that nigga couldn't say shit or he would say something. It was like, damn, bro, yeah, you can't really say, like, you hit women. No, nigga, you hit women. It's like, bro, y'all both going down. Like,
wait, don't Charlamagne got charges like that?
I don't think so.
I thought he had abuse charges too.
I mean, like, the closest thing to like abuse was like he cheated. I think he like openly like he cheated on his wife and like openly like apologized to her and stuff like that. But that was like a long while.
I thought he had him too. I'm like, he's an abuser too. So everybody's an abuser.
They're all educated.
All y'all getting canceled. But I mean, like with cancel culture, I think it's like one of those things where it's like so selective of who you cancel, and it's like it doesn't. Cause like right now, like in one of like the earlier shoot the shits, we talked about how like we're so small that. Like it's like the Wild West. Yeah, it was like, my analogy was this is the Wild West. We can kill somebody and then move to the next town over. No one's gonna worry about like all of us because we're just some kids in college type shit. But it's like if you're on that grand scale, like you get canceled for like Kevin Hart got canceled. You can get canceled for your tweets in 2000 whenever, like before anybody knew your name, before you evolved as a human being type shit. But I mean like. Cardi B is not getting canceled right now, and I'm calling for her I'm like, yo,
I want documentaries. I want witnesses. I want people crying. Like,
I need every nigga in New York at the stand, bro. Like,
me personally, that's something that I don't really struggle with. The cancel culture, I don't really struggle with that because if I hear you say something like remotely against my morals, you're gone because. Right. I don't mess with that, and I don't feel like other people should mess with. I'm not gonna tell you who to cancel, but like we got people out here like 6ix9ine, Kodak Black. We got new Kanye. I'll say old Kanye, different than new Kanye, but we got people like that. We got R. Kelly. I mean, if y'all can look past Robert, if y'all can look past what they did and just be like whatever and not cancel them, then that's on you. But me. Personally, I mean, I don't mess with that. I just can't bring myself to. Yeah, Justin Timberlake. We got J-Lo out here stealing from people. She has not sung one of her songs, I don't believe. It's just like.
But do you think if the claims were like alleged, like it's not proven yet, like should they lose their careers, their like have their songs pulled off of like streaming services?
No.
Not necessarily. It just depends on the allegations, like I use R. Kelly for example, because some people believe that that's alleged. Me personally, I see the facts. But
a whole Boondocks episode.
Look,
a team of animators got together and put that together. Like obviously there's something there.
Look, but me personally, I canceled them. But for some people, they think that he hasn't necessarily been to jail like for that specific thing, so they don't have to cancel him. And I'm like, y'all can hold out for as long as y'all want to, but when the truth comes out, then I don't want to be the one that was like, man, I didn't know this was him. I've listened to his music forever. He's a legend. It's like, nah, to me he's just another dude.
Right.
We like Boondogg said, we all know the nigga can sing.
Well, I mean, like with that though, like I think there's a difference in like there's a fine line between like, okay, we're canceling you because you like did X, Y, and Z for whoever it is versus like, all right, we're gonna pull all of your music because like, and I mean, because I separate people from like if you're a rapper or if you're a performer. Drake is a performer, great performer, does phenomenal work type shit, but he is not a rapper. Like he's not a genuine artist. If you're an artist or you're a performer, I think that like that shit should be set to the side. And then like, all right, well, you're in jail. Like most of those niggas don't even own the rights to their music. So it's like, whenever I'm giving you a stream or I'm paying for your music, it's like as long as I'm not going to a concert, it's fine. Because like I don't say it's fine, but like
that money's not going directly.
Yeah, that money's not going into most of their pockets. The only people that own their rights, like. Bro, fucking Eminem's rights were owned by Michael Jackson for like fucking 7 years, bro. Like, because what? Bro, yeah, he said some shit about Michael. Bro, Michael died and he still owned the rights. Like,
dang,
it's still funny.
And I'm just like, yo, bro, you got bitched.
Michael Jackson out here owning Eminem,
bro.
From the grave,
bro. And it's like, people, if you want to say like. Cardi B, like, hey, bitch needs to go home. You need to send her to jail. Like, y'all need to, like, I'm just like, there's a difference between still playing Bodak Yellow and listening to like whatever other songs she has that are not hers because she's not an artist. But
shade.
But it's like there's a difference between like still listening to her music and like being a champion. Like I stan Cardi. Like no nigga, like bro, she like literally on live was like, yeah, I drugged niggas and had sex with them and took their money. Like literally said that shit for everyone to hear. I'm just like, bro, like, and y'all are okay with it. Like
that's not alleged anymore.
For like solid evidence, but she just said it. So why do you need?
Like why would she be lying?
She can't go back on that. You
right.
just like you said it. I just deleted all her music today because I loved her. I mean, I didn't love her, but thank you.
Hey, good job.
I didn't like love her actually. I like the beats. Not gonna lie, someone else could have done it and it would have been fine. She personally is like loud and kind of explicit. I mean, everyone's explicit, but when it comes to her having a kid and stuff, like the videos that she be coming out with, I'm like, you have a whole kid right now. But it was hard to delete them at first because they're pretty catchy. But then I was like, I can find a cover. I don't know if it's that serious, but like my friend wanted to keep Ignition by R. Kelly, and I was like, you better get a cover for that shit. Like you don't need to hear.
Yeah,
like,
you don't need to hear the remix to Ignition.
When I hear them, I'm gonna think about what they did, so I just delete all their stuff, unless like you said, it doesn't go to them. If it's a matter of like I really love this song and I don't want to support them, then it depends on if they own stuff, I guess, if that's a thing. But as far as like just this is catchy and then like yeah he's a rapist, so I'm gonna, it's like that's weird. Just
like how does that slip your mind?
Like, no, I'm not, that's weird. I can't support like a rapist and
right.
Like, this bumps though, like no.
Yeah.
And I think that like people think like, damn, we gotta cancel 6ix9ine, we gotta like it's like, damn, we really gotta cancel all these mainstream artists. I'm like, bro, y'all do realize like fucking hop on your phone. Like y'all niggas are on your phones all the fucking time. So it's like, go look at all the fucking rappers that follow you, because all them niggas, they play the Instagram game. They go follow all y'all. So it's like, take 2 seconds out of, not even like, take a few minutes out of your day and just like go through all those rappers and like, because I mean like, we do this as like not a job because we don't get paid, but we should, where's the sponsorship? But I need ad revenue. But like we go through music, and it's like the amount of music that I listen to during a week just to like find new artists is exponentially more than I would even imagine people do like on a regular basis. But like when I was in high school, like I would go to debate tournaments and shit, and I would like find 3 different like mixtapes that I was like from artists I had no fucking clue who they were, and I'd be like, oh, that's cool cover art. This sounds like it'd be a good conceptual album. Like this, and I'd like pick out 3 things, and then I'd listen all the way through, even if it was just like fucking trash. But like you do that type of shit, I'm like, you find so many people that deserve your listens, your money, your support type shit, rather than like, what did 6ix9ine don't need your money, bro?
That's
like,
what
that nigga needs to
saying, man. He'd be in jail. He don't need your money. And y'all act like it's hard to find somebody who's not a rapist and a pedophile. Like,
bro,
it's not hard.
You just throw a rock, bro. You probably hit somebody, be like, hey, you rap. Yeah. Are you a rapist? Nah.
It is not hard.
Cool. Yeah,
it's not even if the guy's talented. Like, find somebody else.
If you find, because it's true, if you find these new people, these mainstream people, if you just like look at who they stole from, then maybe you like them, because all they do is sample in a bad way, like they make it trash. But if you look at who inspired them or paved the way or whatever, then you like them more. Like there's people that I really liked. I had to cancel Justin Timberlake because I found out some stuff that's been happening, so I was pretty late to it, but I canceled him. But there's this song called Just Got Paid by who? Who's the original?
Johnny
person?
Kemp.
Yeah, by him, and that was made in the 80s.
Yep.
And so NSYNC had a song like that, but it was theirs. They didn't say it was
gentrified.
Like, it was gentrified pretty much.
Damn.
And that's the only version I knew. And then Bobby showed me the original song, and I was like, oh, there's an NSYNC version of this. And he was like, what? And I showed him, and it's pretty much just the same thing. And nothing's different. They just made it sound like, like crappy. but yeah, I don't talk to I don't talk to Justin Timberlake in my life.
Yeah.
Never will. But I canceled him because I don't know. He steals black people's culture and tries to be like, oh, I have black friends and black producers, so I can dance like them, instead of like standing up. Well, you could do that if, I don't know, it's complicated. Like if you stand up for black people, it's not like, oh, I have Black Lives Matter in my bio, so I can say nigga. It's not like that. But it's like
that's not
it's
how it
like,
works, bro. Wait.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm black, but like shit.
Yeah.
I was like, white people do all. Nah.
It's just like I heard the original song. I was like, well, this is better than Justin Timberlake because he's canceled. I'm not really losing anything because he's not the most talented guy. It's like it's not a loss for me because I'm like, there's better people, like people he stole from. So I think if you can look at who like 6ix9ine was inspired by, you can be like, oh, this guy's way better and he's not a rapist or pedophile, so I'll go with him.
I mean, like,
or her.
Yeah, I mean, like with that, like I don't know who 6ix9ine would have fucking like the only people like Chicago Drill. That possibly, I don't know.
Zilla Kami sounds similar to him. I mean, I know y'all know who Zilla Kami is.
Yeah, him.
Yeah, but facts.
Yeah. Driller what?
I love him or them.
But I mean, like, kind of like jump into like the whole like, Justin Timberlake stealing music and shit like that. Yeah, this is about to like. I'm not a blacktivist, I swear, but I'm black. I like black people, but I'm not a blacktivist, bro. Like, people are people. But like, white people have been stealing music from black folk for how long?
Decades.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, because it's like we had jazz, blues, rock and roll.
Way
we
before,
had soul, R&B, fucking what's the like Elvis's songs? Not all of them, but a plurality of Elvis's songs were all originally by black people.
I never knew that.
And then damn, I was really about to plug a class that most of these people don't even go to school here. Tech history of rock and roll. Don't know what the professor's name is. He's bald.
Dang, all of them.
But like, now like what would happen was like black artists would end up selling their songs and selling their music whenever like rock and roll came out, because it was like white people did not want their children to buy like after World War II. So it's like teens began to have spending power, and so it's like who did musicians market their shit to? Teens, because they had spending power. They were the ones going to buy records, and so a lot of parents still had that like power over their kids, because like your parents say like, yo, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. Like, you know, they're your fucking parents. Like, you can't not listen. I mean, you can, but that's how you end up places. Snatched. But like, bro, but I mean, like all those kids would go out and their parents would not let them bring home like black records. They wouldn't like Nat King Cole was probably the blackest name in white households back then. And it's just kind of like, you put that nigga on a track, it's like, you think he's white, maybe. Like, you know he's black, but you're like, damn, bro, like
is he?
Are you? Like, bro, you might have hung around like a couple of black folk or like a little bit, bro. But like, that's like, that shit's been happening so long and like continued. And then I think it's now, instead of like, oh, like black people made this and white people are stealing, it's kind of like going to like the ghostwriter realm. For me, like, Drake got ghostwriters, but y'all niggas don't want to say nothing. But I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with having a ghostwriter. Like, if you have a ghostwriter and you come out and say, I have a ghostwriter, I'm a performer, cool.
Yeah, you're still going to get paid. You're just not going to get respected within the hip-hop culture. That's it.
I don't even think it's the culture that's going to disrespect you. I think it's more of, like actual rappers. Yeah,
rappers.
Like actual, like, musicians.
The
community.
Yeah,
like,
they're gonna be like, bro, you trash. You don't even write your own stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, but they'll all acknowledge you as like, oh, like, because like everyone acknowledges Tyler. Like, they're like, yeah, Tyler, you a weird ass nigga, but like, yeah, like Tyler. Whenever like Odd Future came out, everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, who is this kid, bro?
Why he rapping about Satan,
bro? Yeah, it's like, yo, these were just like a bunch of weird ass kids. But I mean, like, now you have like Tyler and A$AP Rocky just like fucking out in France yelling about
best of friends.
Yeah, like the best of friends.
Yelling about
Tyler's
potato
like,
salad.
And it's just like, all right, bro. Like nobody's just like no one's mad at Tyler for anything he's doing because he's just a genuine guy. I guarantee if he can't he writes his shit, but I mean if he came out tomorrow and was just like, yo, all this shit's fake, but my heart's still in it. People be like, all right, Tyler, see you later, bro. Like they'd be like, we'll see you in a minute, bro. Like whenever you drop another project, we'll be there. Like type shit. No one's gonna be mad at him. Like
because people are there for his personality, like stage presence and all that other stuff. And that takes talent, I guess. Like in itself, it's not everybody that can do that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's for sure. But heading back to his point of the culture vultures, Justin Timberlake is one that I really don't like. Just because he is like the personification of what you said. White parents don't want their children playing black music, so they'll find somebody who is like white or like somebody who looks kind of black but they're not black, and they'll take them and they'll be like, yeah, he's great, let him win a Grammy. And it's like, yeah, but they're not doing it the same, you know, and they're taking it from them. Like they have this debate about Bruno Mars, is he a cultural appropriator? I mean, I'm still on the fence about it, but
me too.
It's the fact that he has New Jack Swing type vibes on his newest album, but like people don't know that it's New Jack Swing if they don't know about New Jack Swing.
Right.
Yeah, it's like if you don't give credit to it, you're already stealing it, and you're appropriating it if you're not black, I guess. And I don't know where I stand with Bruno Mars because I'm kind of like, I don't know. That one's a toughie right now. I have to do more research on it. But we're watching a video about Bruno Mars being an appropriator or something. Well, some theories about that. But they brought up a really good point about how racist the industry is because of the categories there are, like urban
contemporary
stuff. And what is that?
What?
Like some girl was basically like urban contemporary. Categories like Rihanna and Beyonce, and then they'll never be the general winners. They're only going to be in the urban one. So that's to me that basically says you're good for a black person. Like you'll never be best hip hop. It's like best urban contemporary. Like, but someone said that Iggy Azalea won that, but Nicki's been doing it for years.
Azalea.
And Rihanna's been not rapping, but Rihanna's been singing for years. Beyonce has, and they haven't won anything, well, not as much, I guess. I don't know how that goes.
They don't win in the same categories, like
it's more
like
of the category.
The big ones, anyone could be in it, but like the urban ones are just for the black people. So it's like you're good for a black person type thing. That's what I see it as, and that's really racist. And like the culture vultures are the ones that win. The ones that are like, we're not black, but we'll give you like black sounds.
Yeah, we'll give you the sound that you want.
Yeah,
but
and
like,
my black
but from a white
producers think
person.
it's cool. So, but most of them won't even stand up for black people's rights and stuff. Like Justin Timberlake. It's like oh yeah, I fuck with black people. Yeah, those niggas are.
It's like, what about Black Lives Matter? And he's like, what?
Yeah, he'll be like, what's that? Like, what's black? Like, he'll just hush about it, and it's like, but you want to be like us, but you don't want to be with us. It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, and he completely gentrified Just Got Paid. When she showed me that, I was like, what they doing
no
up
credit
there?
Or anything. They basically took it and like made it crackerfied. I don't know. I don't know if I can say that, but yeah.
Yo, I know like for like the laws on music and shit. If you like, so say we go on like all four of us just like, let's make a song, and we go and we pick up like we pick up a beat, or not a beat, like we go pick up an old song from like the 70s or some shit like that, and then we decide to take like the bass guitar out of it and we use that as our bass line, and then we pay royalties and all that shit. Like we can do that, and you pay like by the second on certain, depending on like which companies you go through and all of that. Like that's for sampling. And then for like the lawsuit with Robin Thicke and Marvin Gaye, or the Marvin Gaye estate.
Is that for Blurred Lines?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the rule for music in the courtroom, like by law, is that there needs to be a 10% difference, and the people that decide that 10% difference are people that don't know shit. Like, like it's like they bring in like people that there's no like there's no one that can be like, that's a 10% difference in this song because da 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 da.
It's like can't be biased, right?
Yeah, and it's like they'll bring in like people that know things about music and shit like that, but it's like 10 who's to say like what 10% is in music because it's not a tangible thing. I can't look at it and say like this is how much and this is like you can like, okay, both songs are 3 minutes, let's say that, and it's like, well, what's 10% if they only tweaked like the octave here and then they did this shit here and then like they added a cowbell here, like, you know what I mean? Like the legality of all of this is like very like loose, and it just depends on like, I guess, lawyers and like how much the judge cares or like who you're appealing to, because I mean like a lot of these biased people, I'm like, whenever I learned that shit, I was like, who the fuck can tell what 10% is? Like, it's a shitty number. Like, to me, it's like, it shouldn't be like, oh, you need to be 50% different. I'm like, you can't really sample shit.
I feel like you can steal 10% of this song.
Right? Yeah, it's like, you can
up to it. I don't know.
You can steal 90%, basically, because 10% needs to be different. 10% needs to be
that's
different.
Even shittier.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's crazy to me. What's 10%? Because I mean, you steal all the lyrics, and then you steal like pretty much all the beat, and then you take out like a few things, and then you might change like one little breakdown inside there, and then like, oh, that's 10%, and basically you just got away with stealing a whole song.
I feel like the structure, like the Just Got Paid thing. I feel like the structure of both, the lyrics on both, the beat and stuff, that's all the same thing. The only thing that's different is like a few words and like I'm not to say it, but me raise it. But like the sound of it, you can tell.
It sounds white.
Yeah, you can tell like it's a like you can tell if One Direction sang a song or if like Boyz II Men. It's a weird range, but you know you can tell by the voice, so you can tell it was them. But like I think they just changed like a few words. But the whole thing on both is the same. So I'd say the structure already is 100% stolen. So I don't know what you can take.
I don't see a 10% difference.
And I mean,
I don't know,
like,
that's weird.
with that, like with that whole like argument, I guess like again, I look to Drake because it's like, you know, I hate that nigga. You can edit that out, right?
I got you.
But like with Drake, it's like Drake literally will take bar for bar beat like just like literally what you're saying and just like, all right, well here you go, and it's like because you're a rapper from Houston in 1994 that no one fucking cared about, and he found your music video or his producers or his ghostwriter, somebody found that video, and I mean like I don't know if he's like paying royalties to those people, if he's like, because it's not like an open thing where it's like, oh yeah, I stole this, but technically it's not stolen because I paid the dude, like, or I'm paying his estate, or I'm paying like like rada whatever, and it's like I'm not okay with you just like, oh yeah, bro, I fucking snagged that shit, because I'm like, we talk about this with our friend Brian, bro. Started from the bottom. I was like, nigga, you were in a wheelchair on Degrassi. Like,
you had an acting job before this.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, bro, aren't you like half Jewish? Like, it's like when Soulja Boy was like, Drake. Like, that's how, like, every time I listen to a Drake song, I'm like, who? Like, nigga, what? Like, you from the 6, bro? Like, you and your woadies? Like, I'm like, excuse me, sir. Like,
yeah.
Nigga, where you been with who? With what? Like, who said you're good where, bro? Like,
it's weird to hear people and be like, do you even know what you're talking about? Like, have you ever been through that? Like, there's people, or rappers and people, just regular people that have been through that stuff and can rap about it.
Right.
Versus having ghostwriters and being like, yeah, I know about this shit. And it's like, do you though? Are you from that area? Or are you just saying, I'm from Canada, but like, I'm from...
But I know that area over there.
Yeah, it's like, you know about it, you don't know.
Because like, with the whole Kiki vibe, I mean like, yo, like,
Kiki.
like that whole like the whole song, bro. The fucking music video pissed me off, bro. Because like
all the acting in it, I was like trying to get back to his roots,
bro. No, but okay, like we sat down one day because like my family's from New Orleans, and so it's just like I know this. Like I'm like I know what you're supposed to sound like, and I'm like he was sitting there talking. I was like, "What are you saying, bro?" Like
he tried.
but bro, he tried to try, bro. Like he tried to try,
but it was not good.
Cause like I was like, bro, you sound like you have a regular accent. Cause like my thing is like I break out into it. Like if I'm talking about certain things, like I'll break out into an accent every now and again. And then like if I see my cousins or if I'm on the phone with my cousin for like longer than like X amount of minutes, then I'm like. Then I start having an accent. I'm like, then I go around with it. I go and I start talking to Mike. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, what did I say? He's like, bro, you had an accent. I was like, oh, my bad. Like, and it's like, I don't even know what he says in the beginning of this fucking video.
Like,
I don't watch it once.
Try to sound like
he done stole everybody's accent. I mean,
Then
at one point he was Jamaican, he was Spanish, and then he was like, I don't even know what.
He was British for a little bit too, like in a freestyle.
He was what?
British.
Facts, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
In a freestyle.
Oh,
and I'm like, how you do that?
Is that socially acceptable?
He's Drake.
If it's,
look, he's Drake.
It's
Drake will
like,
find a reason. He probably like, I'm 14 something. It's like, okay,
What?
Drake. But that brings up to me, J-Lo. How there's one thing to ghostwrite, but to steal somebody's whole vocals and act like it's you. I mean, you didn't even go to the studio. You literally took their vocals and then you were like, that sounds good, and then walked out. Like, you didn't go inside there and sing a thing. Because what would you be doing the whole time? Mouthing it? Like,
yeah, we watched this thing. She basically, I didn't know this, but I would hear it sometimes and be like, that don't sound like her. Because all her songs sound like different people, and they are. Like, I'm Real, ironically, is not her. It's fake. That's Ashanti, and I thought it was her, like, all my life. And I was just, I guess it's J-Lo. So that's Ashanti's voice, but in the video, she's basically, like, mouthing it. Didn't know that till, like, the other day. She's taking Mariah Carey's vocals. Well, no, she's taking her song. Because that's some mess,
her
though.
vocals. Yeah.
And some of her vocals,
and
too.
Brandy.
And, Brandy straight up took Brandy. And so it's, like, all her songs sound different. And it's weird because, which is even funnier, on I'm Real, Ashanti sings the word nigga, and so J-Lo took it so without thinking about that, so the song still says nigga in it. So I'm like, so you're gonna take it and be like, oh yeah, that's fine. At least be
so
smart and like
nigga.
at least be smart and change it.
But I mean, like,
that's crazy.
Like, I don't like what J-Lo's like. What type of Hispanic?
We don't know. We just know she got booked for Selena, and now she's all famous because of that. That's
Yo,
stupid.
Selena was a good movie, bro. Shout out Selena.
I thought it was
Selena,
J-Lo.
not
J-Lo.
Shout out Selena, bro. Bitty Bitty Bumble was my shit. Like, I wasn't.
I think that's her first gig. That's how
think
she
it was.
became her, like, her
And
platform.
then from
was
there,
that
she
movie.
started stealing other people's lives.
Oh, dang. Oh, no. Yeah. But seriously, I don't think that's cool. I undeleted her stuff today, too.
Damn.
I was like, none of them are her. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
can
you just
literally
stealing people's stuff.
go, I don't know. I think she might have a few now. Like, I used to listen to On the Floor all the time in middle school, and now I'm like, is that her or is that Pitbull? Is that all Pitbull?
Pitbull just he pitched his voice a little bit.
Right.
He's just like, let me.
Right.
Hold on, guys.
Nah.
Bro, but I mean, like, yo, that's. But again, it's like, yo, like, if they come out and say, like, this is not, I don't know, that's, you can't steal vocals and just say that's not me, and I'd be okay. I'd be like, what?
How do you feel about people though who counter argue that, oh, it's not about like who did it first or who did it originally, it's about just who packaged it better?
My thing
It's
is, and in like her case, it's like if we're arguing like who packaged it better, like that's a valid argument, because I mean, like, yo, I feel like me and you had this whole conversation about like who owns like the telephone type shit, because like the guy that's like Alexander Graham Bell, like everyone's like, oh yes, he made the patent for the telephone. That nigga stole that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, watch Drunk History, bro. But like, yeah, like shit like that, like people get shit stolen from all the time, and then it's, oh well, I did it better than you. There's a difference between like if like we go and we find an artist, like a lot of our artists do, like we watch an interview that they did like 2-3 weeks before we talk to them and something like that. That's not us like, oh damn, they had some good answers, I want to ask them some shit. Yeah, come here. Like, it's not like us stealing that, and then like if we accidentally stumble upon the same question in our videos better, inherently. Like,
obviously.
Yes. It's like we did do a better job, so we should get the praise for it in my mind. But if you're just like straight just
jacking the vocal,
stealing like an entire like vocal track. That's like somebody sending me a beat and then I go sell it. Like that's fucked. Like
yeah, I think there's a difference between saying you're inspired by something or having like their concept made you want to do it, and saying like shout out to this person, or saying like this is a cover or this is a remix or something, instead of being like I can do this better. And it's like maybe you can, but it's still kind of seen as like stealing. Like there's a difference between that and then J-Lo taking songs that didn't make it to Usher's album and being like, oh, I'm gonna take that. And it's like, what's the motive behind that? Like, do you just want it because you can't sing, or do you want it because you want to make it better? Like, I don't know. And then there's another thing, I forgot her name, that one singer, where she had a song ready to be put out on the radio, and she tried to beat her to it. So she heard it and was like, I want that. And then
One Thing.
One Thing.
Is it Amory?
Yeah, it's Amory, something like
Amory?
that.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
So that song, she tried to get it on the radio first.
She
shouldn't have to race for that because that's her song. But she had it, and then J-Lo was like, I want a song just like that. So she got it. But it was just her vocals. It wasn't her version. So Amory or whatever, she got it to the radio first, and so J-Lo couldn't take it. So I think like her motive there, it sounds like she just wants money, not like, oh, that's inspiring, I'm gonna make my own. Like, because people sample stuff all the time, and put like little verses or something, or at least say cover or remix, but she just takes it. Yeah, it's weird, and it's like from black people. Like I don't know what that's about.
Seems like everybody's stealing from us, but
no, bro, pause. That throws me to like, this is like has nothing to do with music, but like I saw a video on Twitter the other day. It was like 2-3 weeks ago, but it was like these Asian guys, and they would like they made their hair nappy, so like they could have like a flat top. Like they literally had the same hair as me, and I'm like, bro, like your hair is straight.
How do you feel about people that aren't black with like dreads and like faux locks, and or girls with like white girls with box braids and stuff like that?
Bro, y'all seen that girl on campus?
I saw a dude that Asian dude at Walmart. We saw him with dreads, and I've never seen that in my life. And I wasn't mad, but I was kind of like confused.
Hey,
I was like, what the fuck?
There's a like in my mind, it's like dreads shouldn't be like. I mean, I shouldn't say they shouldn't be worn, but like dreads are worn in like Rasta culture for the culture, because like that's what they believe. Like they have a whole like Nazarite vow, like all the shit's in the Bible type shit. So it's like they have a reason to wear their dreads, and it's like, my nigga, dreads stink most of the time.
Yeah, especially for white people, they don't. Because they have a different hair texture. So if they tried to get dreads after washing their hair, it wouldn't work. Right. So they just don't wash their hair ever. It's like it's dirty. You're dirty, bro.
But like, and I mean, like with that, it's like it takes the significance away from like from having them. But I mean, like that would be me having the same argument of like, well, bro, you're like you don't believe, like you're not a Rasta, so like why do you have dreads? You're black, but you're like that's still not your culture. Like you're not from Jamaica. You didn't take the vow. Like you don't believe in these certain beliefs. And I mean, like, it's a difference of like if I can naturally have dreads and I can naturally do these things, and it's like I'm not going out of my way to make my hair look like I'm not like going so fucking far to like get this shit. Like white girls with box braids, I'm like, excuse me, like I'm like, I mean like yo, like not every sister is like walking around with just like long ass hair to where she can get box braids. It's like you might need like go buy a pack, whatever, go get you a little bundle Brazilian, baby. Like, but it's like you go do that, but like. It don't look good on white. It's like it's a whole different thing. It's like it doesn't look good. Like
take them off.
Yeah,
stop.
Stop.
Untangle your hair.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes when you change something completely different about yourself to be something else. Like the whole what's making your hair nappy? I don't know what that is.
I don't know how.
I'm gonna find the video. I'm gonna show y'all. Bro. I'm gonna find it, bro.
It's like I wake up and my hair is nappy. How you make it nappy?
They do like twists. It's so weird. Like you know how Kodak's hair used to be, where it was like those little like balls on his head.
Things.
Yeah.
Cantu nuts.
So like they do that, but like they twist it. Like instead of making the knots, they just like twist it, and they pick it all out, and it's just like.
What? That's too much.
I'm like, bro, like y'all doing all this just to look like me, bro? Like
stop.
Yo, y'all can have it, bro. I'll sell y'all my hair, bro. Like, I'm trying to get some trying to get a check. Fuck.
Look.
I mean, in a way, that's flattering if they're making that much effort to like look like us. Then like, I don't know. I don't know if I would be mad at it more than be like, all right, well, you want to be like me. That's
it's
cool.
flattering until I start making money off of it.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
then I'm being robbed. So
I can do this shit for free.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how come whenever I do this, it gets overshadowed? Like Kim K with the quote unquote boxer braids. It's like, now you know them just box braids, but you can make money off of it, so you can call it something else.
Yeah.
Like, that's messed up.
and I mean like, because it's like it's flattery if someone says, yes, I enjoy black culture, I enjoy this. Like, is it flattery for, like, I don't want to say like artists, like, so say some like American kid is just like, damn, I love anime so much. So, like, then they're like, oh, this is an homage to like my favorite animators and shit like that. Like, no, I don't think artists are out there just like steady tracing and shit and just, I mean,
Yeah, some of them do.
yo,
some of them do, but like,
I mean, like, but like, for you to like come in and be like, I like everything you're doing, but fuck you, and then it just like
Basically what
but
it
it's like,
is.
and it's like, yo, I don't know about that one, Chief. Like
Put it back.
yeah, like, stop.
Put it back where you found it,
Bro.
or so help me.
And it's like it would be flattery if it wasn't looked down upon, because like you see a white guy with dreads, you're like, oh wow, look at that, bro. Like you see,
Oh my God.
you see,
Oh,
like,
wow.
bro, you see like an Asian guy with dreads, like, dude, never seen that before, freaking gnarly. It's just like, then you see a nigga with dreads, it's like, dude, what the fuck is he stealing? It's like, what? Like,
stop! You're breaking the law.
I mean, like,
It's like he
just
can't
came out the
get a
bathroom.
job though. He can't get a job.
like, I mean, like, yo, my Uncle Ben used to have dreads done to his ass, and like, he was a mailman, like, you know what I mean? But like, that, like, it shouldn't hinder me because this is my natural shit,
Yeah.
and then you get it, and it's like, bro, you
Yeah,
stink. Like,
that's when you get
Yeah.
profit and credibility off of it. Like, you're so popular now and you're making so much money. It's like, I've been doing that,
right?
or they
Yeah.
should have sold that. I don't know. It
I
doesn't
don't
seem
know.
right.
That's a deeper issue though, and we gotta address a lot for that one. Because that one's just, sometimes it's just stealing, sometimes it's just like, bro, you're
Appropriating.
blatantly doing this. Yeah.